Greetings, humans. This is going to be a freestyle tutorial regarding automation, and basically we're just going to build something. This is coming off the top of my head. I'm not like planning anything out in advance or anything like that. And what we're going to begin building a bot that's going to log into WordPress and make a new post, and it's going to post as many posts as we prepare for it to do. And so right now I'm opening up the Ubot Studio program. This is the program that we're going to build the bot in. I have a professional license, I think it is. Professional or developer. I have the middle license. I've had a license with them for years. This is one of my favorite tools for creating macros. And so what we're going to do, we're going to build a bot that logs into WordPress, navigates to the create a new post, takes the title and description and tags and category and image that we provide, and it's going to post it. If we do 3, it'll post 3. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is save as a project folder. And so I'm going to put it on my desktop. Ubot. We're going to call it WP Manager because we're going to keep building onto this thing. It's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. First, we're going to make it create new posts, and we'll make it create users and all sorts of stuff. So I'm not going to give too much of a explaining about Ubot Studio in itself. That'll be a different video. In this video, I want to stay focused on building stuff. So I just want to start by saying that. Don't expect me to do too much explaining what stuff is. Although I will explain what stuff is as it relates to what we're building. But I'm not going to go through giving an overview of the IDE or any of that stuff. So, with that being said, this search toolbox is just a way of quickly getting to the commands. So you see, we can drag and drop a command this way. And if I save it and go into code view, you see that it has written the code for me. If I wanted to, I can easily change something in the code. And so if we hit node view now, you see that it's there. If I execute this node, you see that it logs on to the website. Now, so we've got commands over here, and we've got parameters, but all of that can be found in here. So if I wanted to do another navigate, I could just say navigate, and then I'm gonna just drag this over here, and I wouldn't have to worry about finding it over here. Okay, and so I'll just do. So now you see that I just made the change that way. And if we run it, works just the same. So the commands, I like to keep this closed and just use the search toolbox. And so that's essentially what I wanted to explain from that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let's create the login tab. And so this is going to be where the bot logs into the WordPress. And so here we have the login screen. And so the first thing that we're going to do is enter the username and password. And so I'm going to use a change attribute command. And the attribute, the element that we're going to change is username field. And so right here we can see we can set the attribute to target. So we're going to target the tag name input and the ID, user login. So let's target by ID. Hit OK. And the value that we're going to change it to is the username for Izzy to log in. Okay. Then we're going to wait. Now, it's really important that you put waits in. And I always do like a 1 second wait between fields, but you're going to want to put waits in. Otherwise, your commands will execute too fast, and sometimes things won't be loaded. Sometimes data will not be prepared. It just depends on the complexity or the situation that your commands are executing. Sometimes it'll be perfectly fine for you to not have any waits in, but it's really good practice to put proper waits in as you're building your sequence. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is another change attribute for the password. And so I'll just go ahead and drop this here, and we'll click this, select that. So you see it already selected password field. I'm not going to go through the setting and all the tag again because, you know, it's not necessary. It's only one password field here. It's already selected. Nothing for me to configure. And so I'll go ahead and put the password in. Okay, so put another wait in. Wait a second. And then we're going to do a click. And we're going to click this login button. And then after that, we're going to wait for a browser event. And the browser event is going to be everything loaded. So that's going to give the page an opportunity to, you know, go through its thing. And it's going to wait until all the elements in the DOM are loaded before it moves on to the next sequence. And then I'm going to put a padding on there. I'm going to put, whenever I change pages, I always like to put another 5 seconds of a wait just to make sure everything settles down and is available before I start trying to move on. So let's go ahead and run through this sequence and see if we log in. I'm actually going to change the page. Let's go somewhere else. Okay, now go ahead and hit run. And voila. So now, as you can see, we're logged into WordPress, and we're now ready to begin creating a post. Now, before we get started with actually creating the post, I just want to give another reminder that this is going to be a progressive complexity approach. So we're not about to take the most sophisticated approach to building this bot. In the beginning, our goals right now is to introduce you to how this software even works and what, building automation solutions using something like this is like. But for anyone that continues along video after video, you'll begin to learn increasingly more complex methods for achieving the same goals. And also, of course, you'll be able to ask questions, and I'll begin addressing some of the specific desires of people that are following along. With that being said, so right now we want to create a post. So I'm going to come here under Add New, and it is possible that I could have clicked the Add New button, but I'm just going to take the URL because doing a navigate command is far less prone to error than a click command. A click command can get hung up. It can, let's imagine that an update to WordPress takes place and the button changes. Chances are the URL is still going to be the same. So whenever possible, I like to use the URL. Now, we're going to create a new tab, and we're going to connect these later on. But for right now, we're doing everything manual. So we're going to go ahead and grab us a new navigate command. And as you can see, the URL all automatically posted in there. I went ahead and cut it out just to be sure, but here it is. So now, I'm also going to rename this tab to Create Post. All right. So now we've navigated here. First thing I see is that we have this welcome to the block editor. I don't think that this is going to be something that happens more than once, but let's do a command to check for it. And we're going to say exists. And okay. And if that exists, then right now let's just do an alert just to check and make sure it can find it. All right, so let's run this and let's check and see whether or not it sees it. So boom, we can see it sees it. Now, if you see it, let's click this X. Button tag is what we want. Button. Let's try class. That's 10. No. Tell you what, let's do it a different way. Let's do the visual. There we go. Now. And then if you don't see it, don't do anything. Run the node. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Doesn't like that, huh? Let's try that now. There we go. Perfect. All right. Another thing, we wanted to use the default editor. All right. So let's wait 5 seconds. Also, let's wait everything loaded. All right. And then it's going to click that if it's there. If it's not there, wait a minute, let's put a wait in here. And now let's go ahead and click this use default editor, because we're not going to use the Divi builder while posting things from the bot. Here we are. Wait. Let's give that 2 seconds. So now we're ready to begin posting the content. So we've got a title. We've got a content area. Right now, we're on the block tab. We need to switch over to the document tab. And so we've got to kind of build this all out.